What is going on, one and all? Welcome to the First Round Bye podcast, episode 47. I am Soss, and unfortunately, I am still not accompanied by my boy Jose. He's taking some time off, so you guys get me again today. Let's go. So, before we get started, I actually wanted to talk to you guys about merch. So, we have a merch site. I'm going to be loading up a video of us going through the website now. So we have cups, we have mugs, we have shirts, we also have hoodies and sweaters too. So you won't want to miss out on getting some of that because the weather's starting to get cold. And so it's out with the t-shirts, out with the tank tops, in with the long sleeve shirts, in with the brand new Ripperooskies long sleeve. Also, since it's breast cancer awareness, let's go ahead and get a pink sweater or a pink shirt. Those are so dope. And if you do end up getting some of our merch, just make sure that you tag us. That way we can shout you out or feature you or do something along those lines to make sure that you guys get noticed for rocking our stuff. Now, like I said before, they're at the lowest price point possible. That way you guys can support. We don't get any profit off of it at all whatsoever. So please just know that. Just know that. But anyway, so, and like I said, we have now the Ripperooski shirt. It was designed by Jose, so I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm definitely going to be getting myself one as well. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start this episode off, episode 47. And yes, it is probably going to be another weird one because of the fact that Jose is not here. But we're talking about some of the biggest things that have happened. Now, we're going to actually lead off with the fact that the rich are getting richer. So we talked about the last episode that the trade deadline is November 1st, right? So the Eagles have traded for Robert Quinn. They've sent a 2023 fourth round pick to the Chicago Bears for Mr. Robert Quinn. He's going to be helping them out on their defensive line and everything. I actually really like the move. Part of the reason why is because the Eagles are making some big moves. You can tell that they're going all in for this season. They made the big trade for my former boy AJ Brown, and he is lighting it up. I'm actually recording this while football is going on. Granted, it's halftime right now, so for the early games. So right now he's actually going off, which good for them. I'm glad. But yeah, so the rich are getting richer. The Eagles, they are trying to bolster up that already impressive defense and everything. I have zero problem with them trying to get better and make a huge run because I believe that they have actually the easiest schedule. Now, granted, you can only play against the teams that are put on your schedule and everything. You can only play those games. So they're taking advantage of it. I'm happy for them. That's awesome. But another team that is actually kind of hurting now, that would be the Cincinnati Bengals. So a lot of you guys have seen Jamar Chase. He got injured. I think he hurt his hip. But he's going to be out for, I think they said like 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. He was not put on injured reserve, which injured reserve, if for those of you who do not know, you have to sit out for, I believe, 4 games. Not 4 weeks, 4 games. So he is going to be gone for a little while. So if you guys got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, who else? Joe Mixon. You got Joe Mixon, then start him. Since Jamar Chase is not in the lineup, then they are going to be eating, I'm hoping. So that's a little bit of fancy advice. Although I will say that I'm not exactly the one to be putting up a lot of fancy advice, considering the fact that in our league I am currently 1-5. Yeah, it sucks. Not really. I don't really care. At least that's what I say. But yeah, so a little bit of fantasy advice, especially if you are hurting for wide receivers, because right now the wide receiver pool is getting kind of, especially if you are in a deeper league, the wide receiver pool is kind of getting a little bit thin, a little bit not so great. So, also, Deebo Samuel rolled out against the Rams. So, if you have Christian McCaffrey, then who knows? He could be eating a lot more, especially since they love to run the ball. And since Deebo, who is a big time asset, a big time utility player for them, you guys could possibly be eaten if you picked up Christian McCaffrey. I actually just traded for him, but I don't get him until next week. Boo. Sad day. But, yeah, so Debo's out. Jamar Chase is out. Also, DK Metcalf is out. If you're hurting for wide receivers, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I personally have gotten very lucky in that I have some decently good quality receivers. And now they're nothing to write home about, but they are wide receivers. But in the real life of football, I really do hope that all these players make a speedy recovery and everything, because that just sucks. It's awful for them, especially for their teams, because like Seattle, where DK is playing, Seattle's doing really well. Geno Smith has had a resurgence. He's playing really, really well. The 49ers, they have a chance in that loaded NFC West. So, and they're going against a division rival today or tomorrow. I don't know. I honestly don't know when the game is. I'm just looking at my notes. But yeah, so big time games coming up, and some of these star receivers are not going to be able to help out their squad. So we're going to see how good the coaching is on all these squads. Now, I know that I'm kind of moving quick through some of this stuff, but that's just because I've got a lot to talk about, especially since I'm planning on uploading this later on today. And so I don't want to miss out on any of the stuff that I have. Plus, it's halftime, and it's been some good games going on so far. So your boy wants to continue to watch them. Plus, like I said, it's always a little strange whenever you're doing a podcast and your co-host isn't available. But the show must go on. We promised you guys that we would continue to put out some quality episodes, so that's what you get. So, another thing going on. So we have two legends that are just not playing very well right now. So I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Bucks with Tom Brady, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Their team has fallen below .500, which anybody that knows that that's just that below 500 is a losing record. So they currently have a losing record, and this is the first time, I believe, since 2002. So it's been 20 years since Tom Brady has had a losing record. That is just insane. That also just speaks on his greatness. No matter how much I dislike him, he is the greatest. But a lot of this stuff can be attributed to the fact that the poor guy, he has a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his personal life. I know that he's made some remarks that have been very off the wall. I'm talking about the one in regards to comparing his NFL career and the NFL career of others to the military and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that. I've already posted my thoughts on social media somewhat. I try to stay away from those super, super controversial topics, especially since, I mean, they just don't really have a place on this particular show, at least not right now. Maybe whenever my co-host gets back, but for now, I'm not going to speak on it. But Tom Brady, currently going through a divorce with Giselle. I feel for him. I feel for the dude. I have no idea what he could be going through. And a lot of people will sit there and talk about how things shouldn't be too hard for him, especially since he's a multimillionaire, all this stuff. But thing is, they're still human as well. I was actually just talking about this with a few of my friends, is that some people tend to think that these players are superhuman, that they don't feel emotion, that they've got to hide all their emotions, they got to hide all the pain that they're going through. No, these guys still go through the same BS that we all go through. because they're just like us. The only thing is that they are entertainers and they're playing a sport and all that good stuff. But they're just like us. They now, granted, they do have somewhat higher access to better doctors and better help for their mentals and their physicals and everything like that. That's true. However, at the end of the day, they're human just like we are. So that's why I tend to have a little bit more sympathy towards some of these players. I know I'm probably alone in that, and a lot of you guys probably sit there and think that they're just a bunch of rich babies and all this other stuff. I get that and I understand that mindset, but I also like to think about the human aspect of it all. But yeah, so my heart goes out to that family because regardless of how much money they make and how well off they are and all that good stuff, they're still going through a lot. At the end of the day, they are still going through a ton, especially mentally, and obviously that's probably got to be taking a toll on Brady because he had I believe that the Bucks had two games during the week that he was finalizing his divorce. Like, just think about that. That's got to be weighing heavily on him. And so I'd be interested to see how well he plays moving forward and everything. Especially since I don't want anything to tarnish his legacy because he is the greatest of all time, but he also has put his occupation, which is football, ahead of some other things, which I don't really feel like I agree with, just because of the fact that I like to put my loved ones first. I mean, at the end of the day, that's who I've still got. Um, but yeah, so the other legend who is faltering, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. As far as I know, I haven't seen him say that he has been going through some stuff as well. Uh, but that offense, they haven't given him any help. He's got some really young wide receivers. I know that the Packers are actually looking to bolster their offense. They've been looking to bolster their wide receiver core. So they've been linked in with trade talks for multiple wide receivers. I know that they were at least looking at like Jerry Jeudy. They were looking at Chase Claypool. Who else were they looking at? I'm not sure because I know that some of their top options, like Randall Cobb, he's injured. Christian Watson that they drafted, he's injured. I really like Christian Watson coming out of the draft. So they need some help. And I'm kind of surprised that they haven't reached out to OBJ, especially since he's still a free agent. And I kind of really want him to play too. But yeah, so they are probably going to be looking at trading for somebody. I think that I also saw that the Chiefs picked up, I can't remember what his name is. That's right. They have traded their 2020. Wait, let's see. So they sent a compensation third round pick and a 6th round pick to the Giants to get Kadarius Toney. I actually don't know anything about Kadarius Toney, if I'm being honest. But and apparently he's a good young wide receiver, so they are bolstering their already solid wide receiver core. Granted, everybody that knows that they lost Tyreek Hill in the offseason, which sad day, but he's playing really well for Miami. But yeah, so the Packers, they fell to below 500. They lost to the Commanders, which the Commanders, they've still been playing pretty well, like pretty hard. They keep things competitive. Like it's not always just blowout wins against the Commanders. So, but the Packers are just not playing very well. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't have anybody to throw to. The offensive line isn't creating a super amount of room for their running backs, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. So, and then that defense is playing, they're playing okay. So, yeah, the Packers, who are perennial like playoff contenders, they are not playing well. The Tampa Bay Bucks, perennial playoff contenders now that they have Tom Brady not playing very well. And so if they don't turn it around soon, they might not be perennial playoff contenders anymore. But anyway, so we're going to get to the bread and butter of this episode, which is the benchings of two quarterbacks. So Matt Ryan was benched in Indy in favor of Sam Ellinger. I have no idea how to pronounce his last name, not going to lie. But so Matt Ryan, he has had an up and down season for the Indianapolis Colts. And like I said, it's been literally an up and down season for him. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks for Matt Ryan is the fact that the Colts owner absolutely cannot stand the Titans. Why is that? It's obvious. They're in the same division. But the last couple of years, they have been getting swept by the Titans. The Titans have been winning the division. And for anybody that knows about the AFC South, for a long time, whenever Andrew Luck was there and whenever Peyton Manning was there, it was all Colts. The Colts would be the perennial winners of the AFC South. Always. And, I mean, for good reason. They had generational quarterbacks. Peyton Manning is one of the greatest. And, of course, Andrew Luck, before he retired, doing the smart thing, before he retired, he was phenomenal as well. But now, since then, they've had like Jacoby Brissett. They had Carson Wentz last year. Now they have Matt Ryan. And then, of course, they had Phillip Rivers. They've had Phillip Rivers. So they've got a bunch of these retread quarterbacks who are probably past their prime and everything, but they are trying to revitalize them and get some help. Because Jonathan Taylor, as good as he is, you still got to have a passing game in this league. But Matt Ryan played terribly for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And then after the Titans game, it was announced that Sam Ellinger would be taking over for the rest of the season. Or at least Matt Ryan wouldn't be playing for the Colts for the rest of the season. That is nuts. So, because Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, he's always been a pretty good quarterback. And so to see his downfall, it's kind of sad. Even though I'm a Titans fan, we're not the biggest fans of the Colts and everything. I still have a lot of respect for them. I have a lot of respect for most all of the NFL teams and everything. So with Matt Ryan being benched and everything, being one of the better quarterbacks of the last decade, man, it does definitely kind of suck. But it's time to usher in a new era. They're going to see what they have in Sam Ellinger. They're going to see what they got in him. If they don't like what they see, then for the rest of the season, which, I mean, obviously this is what you have to do. There are no really good quarterbacks available, not that I can see. And you don't want to give up capital, especially if next year should be a better quarterback drafting class. So you see what you got in Sam, and then you take note of that. If he bombs out, then guess what? You're probably going to be picking high anyway. And so you just got to make sure that you have the assets to be able to get the quarterback that you want, which they should have been doing that for a while instead of getting all these retreads. They've had like 3 or 4 years to do that. But I think that part of it too was they saw the talent that Carson Wentz had, and they were like, hey, might as well try. And then of course, Matt Ryan, he was just in a really bad situation over there in Atlanta, and Atlanta was wanting to move on from him anyway, start to rebuild. And yeah, so I can understand it. I can understand that mindset and why they would want to do that. So yeah, Matt Ryan is out in Indy. The era of Matt Ryan is done. The 1-year rental is over with. He's still getting paid a pretty penny by Indy, and that's the other thing too. They've given up a lot of capital to get these retreads and try to get them going. But coaching staff's not looking too good. That front office is pretty much under fire. So we'll see what happens. If Sam doesn't do something, then I'm sure that we're probably going to see some firings soon, which, It's never a fun time. But anyway, so we're gonna get to our last point. Our last point. My boy Jose, his Patriots, this last week. I guess Mac Jones is starting today. However, last week, Mac Jones, who played an absolutely awful game, was benched in favor. Wow, I can't even talk. In favor of Bailey Zappi. Wow. Yeah. So, as of this podcast, as of this recording right now, Mac Jones is, I think he has 2, maybe 3 touchdown passes to 5, 6, maybe even 7 interceptions on the season. His season's not starting out that great. Now, granted, the Patriots are actually playing pretty well, but they're playing pretty well in spite of Mac Jones. He's just not having a good year so far. However, Bailey Zappi, in the relief that he's played pretty stinking well. Not anything too crazy, but he has played well. He's played well, and I'll give him that. I'll give him those props. So he's getting it to the wide receivers, to the playmakers, to the running backs, because obviously we all know that the Patriots love to utilize those running backs, and they have some good running backs. They have some very good utility running backs. They're still a good team. They just need better quarterback play, and they will be up there as potential contenders. But yeah, and so as of this, I checked my phone. So I'm checking my phone real quick. Looking on ESPN, I'm going to start wrapping this up pretty quick because I want to watch the rest of football. But the Patriots, so currently the Patriots are winning at the moment. And Mac Jones is 21 of 30 for 177 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. So that would take it to where he is, I want to say 3 touchdowns, 6 picks on the year. That's what I want to say. No, 2 touchdowns, 6 picks on the year. Okay, so unless they haven't updated his stat yet. So hopefully he'll start turning things around. Otherwise, you got Bailey Zappi just sitting there waiting in the wings to take over. And like we've talked about before, and Jose loves bringing this up because, I mean, it's true. It's the truth. At the end of the day, NFL is a business, and they're in the business of winning Super Bowls. And there's a certain benchmark that the Patriots have. Obviously, throughout the 2000s, they were one of the greatest. They were the greatest dynasty in football. There's no doubt about that at all whatsoever. They were the greatest dynasty in football, and so they have a certain level of excellence and expectancy that they have. So you fall below that, you start getting into Bill Belichick's doghouse. Good luck getting out of it. So we will continue to monitor the situation, see what's going on. But yeah, that's been all the craziness. Like, this year so far has been absolutely nuts. And that's part of the reason why we went ahead and decided to go ahead and do a solo episode, was because there's just too much to talk about to not get on here and talk about it. So yeah, that's why we are recording this episode. I'm not sure if he's going to be back for the next episode, but if he isn't, then I will still be here. We are inching ever so closely to episode 50, which we kind of have something cool planned. Not really. We haven't really planned anything. But regardless, we are going to plan something that's going to be awesome. So, like I said before, if you enjoyed this episode and you're watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a like, comment down below, let us know what you think, and then hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for post notifications so you know anytime we post a video. It means a lot to us. We just want to continue to grow this community, talking about football and everything. You don't have to agree with our opinions, but if you don't, then drop a comment down below. We love to talk football, so do that. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio podcasts, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. We love all the support we get. Head over to firstroundbuy.com for all your streaming options, merch needs, all that good stuff. Buy a shirt, tag us on Instagram, all that good stuff. enjoy the day. Enjoy your week. Have a phenomenal rest of your Sunday. Hopefully you are watching football, because if you are not, then that's what you should be doing if you're a football fan, because it's a great day for football. It's a great day to be watching. But anyway, rambled on way too much. For Jose, I am Soss. Thank you for watching First Round By Podcast, and we will catch you guys in the next one.